My favorite and your favorite, Snoop Froggy Dog. And somebody new with a dog pound. Check it out right here on the station that plays only platinum hits. 187.4 on your FM dial. We'll be taking caller number 21 for those Janet Jackson tickets. So call in 310-DAPOUND. That's 310-POUND, bitch. That's the pound.
Hear ye, come one, come all. It's the first annual G, Nick, and all my dogs are invited, so go and light it. Cause it's the first time in a long time. Right. Reminiscing about the Fresh Fest back in 85 when the Dubs and Insaniac used to who ride. Old motherfuckers like it was the thing to do. 85, 84, 8 Trey, in year 82. You know what the fuck I'm talking about? After party on the lake at the big homie's house. And bet nobody bring a motherfucking gun, cause everybody in the house from 2-1.
21st Street, 1st Street, where it all started. I love that. What's going on, man? Welcome to the Mack Lessons Radio Show. It's your dude. This is Tariq Elite, a.k.a. King Flex, a.k.a. Tariq Nasheed, a.k.a. TN. Welcome to the show. I'm glad to have everybody back tuning in. I am back from Hawaii. Had a great time, and I'm ready to chop up good game with all my loyal, dedicated listeners, gamestresses, Macks and Maxtresses, players, hoes, squares, simps, everybody out there trying to soak up the game. And today's show is brought to you by MackLessons.com. That's where you can get all your Mackin needs. You can get books, you can get DVDs, you can get everything you need to step your game up. And don't forget to go to Amazon.com and get The Art of Gold Digging, my book for women, and you can get The Art of Mackin 10-year anniversary edition, my book for men. Go to Amazon.com and get that shit right now. Anyway, y'all, on today's show, got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about Regional Mackin, because I just got back from Hawaii and I feel energized. And whenever I go out of town, I feel a certain energy. It's like getting rebooted. And I want to put you guys up on the Regional Mackin. I want to teach you how to, or give you some tips on how to step out of your element, go to other cities, what the vibe is like in different cities, and all that good stuff. Now, before we get into that, I want to get into a couple of other things. A lot of people have been sending me clips from what's the name? Alexis Tyler. I got some new Alexis Tyler clips I'm about to play. And I also want to talk about the Chris Brown situation very briefly, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the media about it. I want to touch on that very briefly, not too much. But let me get into this Alexis Tyler clip. It's a real quick clip. It's funny as shit, though. Hold on one second. Very funny clip from Alexis Tyler. And I'm going to give you a little piece of it right here.
And for all these women that don't double smoke no cigarettes, they got damn double clutching and damn double sucking 2 dicks in their mouth at the same damn time and 2 damn set of nuts in their damn mouth. I don't know. This show today is another installment of damn mama daughter drama, but it go on 2 damn levels, because I don't know what kind of fucking mamas that we got today. I don't know what kind of fucking daughters we got out here, and they're not just my age, but I'm talking about these damn teenage girls. You can tell their mom is a whore and a damn slut, because the daughter is a damn dumb, backwards, wayward ass, double clutching, double dick sucking slut.
I had to play that one real quick. That's Alexis Tyler. Y'all know I love Alexis Tyler to death. I had to play a quick clip of that. Let me put back on some of my Mackin music so I can flow straight from the Survivor Scrolls. And you guys can check out Alexis Tyler on YouTube. Alexis is absolutely wonderful. I love Alexis Tyler. And if you are a fan of the show, you know that I am known for playing a lot of Alexis Tyler clips. But I digress. Anyway, man, I also want to talk about, a lot of folks have been asking me about this or asking me to speak on it. You know, we all know about the Chris Brown situation, and everybody, chimed in. It's something that happened in pop culture. It was real big in the media, but now people are really trying to throw Chris under the bus. And we've all made jokes. I made jokes on the show about it, but now they're taking it to another level, and they're really trying to make Chris Brown the poster boy for domestic violence, and I think they're going overboard now. I think the media is really starting to get a little bit overboard with this whole Chris Brown is the poster boy for domestic violence thing. And one of the reasons why they're going overboard with it now that they feel like they have the green light to do so, is because of Oprah Winfrey's ass. Oprah just did a show, and I've only seen clippings of it. I've seen clippings here and there about it. Oprah was on her show, and she had like Gail and a couple other people and talking about domestic violence, and she was like, Rihanna, Chris Brown is going to beat you again. Can't even pronounce the bitch name right. Rihanna, not even Rihanna. Rihanna, you should leave Chris Brown. He's going to beat you again. I am a victim of all that old bullshit. And a lot of people in the black community are not really co-signing Oprah on this. A lot of black women, thankfully, are not co-signing this, and rightfully so. Oprah's getting a little backlash from this, from the whole Chris Brown bashing, and rightfully so, because what she's doing is tap dancing for white folks. Because you guys know, and look, I like Oprah Winfrey. I've spoken very highly of Oprah Winfrey. I like Oprah. I have a lot of respect for Oprah, but when she gets off into the mammy stuff, when she's going back to her mammy ways, I can't co-sign it. And if you're a listener of this show, you know how I feel about some of the little slick stuff that Oprah will do. When it comes to white folks, Oprah is very non-judgmental of white folks. But boy, she is so quick to throw some brothers under the bus, it's ridiculous. I've gotten on Oprah many times. You know how she was with the whole download thing. You had all those white dudes on her show who was married and they were sucking dick 6 ways to Sunday. Like, yeah, Oprah, I'm married with 5 kids, but I live a double life. I have sex with dudes and I fuck transvestites and I get male prostitutes. And Oprah sit up there, oh, really? Wow. Okay, we have to go to commercial. We'll be right back. She don't say shit. But let a nigga go on the show on some undercover gay shit. She starts throwing that. Well, you're on the down low. We're going to do a show about black men and the down low. They never called no white dude that down low shit. Oprah's real big on that labeling niggas. Even with that Imus nappy-headed hoe thing, Imus set up and called black women nappy-headed hoes. Oprah didn't say one word bad about Imus. Not only did Oprah not say anything fucked up about Imus, she went and got a bunch of brothers on her show and started throwing the brothers under the bus. Oh, it's the rapper's fault. Oprah is quick to get off into that mammy nonsense. I can't co-sign that. Now, I like Oprah and I want to like Oprah, but I can't co-sign the mammy shit. Even when that dog, the bounty hunter, sat up and called that little black girl his, you know about the story, guys. Dog the bounty hunter, his son was dating this black girl, and Dog the bounty hunter called that girl all types of niggas. I didn't hear nothing from Oprah then. As a matter of fact, they just canceled his show temporarily. His ass is back on the air. I don't hear all this backlash when these white folks do all this old crazy shit, but we get thrown under the bus. And speaking of Dog the Bounty Hunter, when I was in Hawaii, I was hoping to see his mullet wearing ass so I can cuss him out. And on a side note, y'all remember when he did that whole campaign to get back in the good graces of the public, community? I remember seeing Dog the Bounty Hunter. He was on CNN. And, he was going around doing interviews like, oh, I'm not racist. I love people. I love blacks. I love everybody. I didn't mean that. Oh, I messed up. Please forgive me. What I didn't like I turn on CNN. He's sitting up there with a whole bunch of black kids with toys. And I'm like, black women, why you sell your children out for toys? Y'all stop doing that goofy shit. You don't let your children sit up around no redneck, racist ass piece of garbage like that for some damn toys. They know who to target. They knew to go to the hood and get a bunch of hood rat ass females to co-sign that bullshit and offer them some bullshit like toys to sit up with Dog, the racist bounty hunter. White folks wouldn't do that in a million years. You couldn't pay white folks to sit up and let their kids hang around somebody like who they think is radical, like Minister Farrakhan or somebody. They wouldn't do that shit. For no toys, especially. Our sisters, stop doing that. Stop selling your kids out for menial items. But I digress. But back to Oprah's ass. Like Oprah don't say nothing about white folks, man. Oprah, she knows her role, but the minute she can throw a brother under the bus, she is right there. I can't co-sign that, man. I don't like that shit. Because if you want to talk about domestic violence, if that was the real issue, hell, there's a whole bunch of white dudes that's been accused of domestic violence that people just kind of forget about. Tommy Lee, he was accused of whooping Pamela Anderson's ass many times. People kind of forget about that. Even David Hasselhoff, Baywatch dude, he was accused of that shit. Whole bunch of folks, man. Bill Murray, he was accused of that in his divorce papers. Don't nobody even know about that. Hell, even Vanilla Ice was accused of whooping ass. Nobody said nothing about his ass. More recently, Batman, Christian Bale. Christian Bale was accused of beating his mama's ass. Y'all forgot about that one, huh? Do your research on that. I didn't forget about that. I thought that was some cold-blooded shit. Christian Bale was accused of beating up his mama and his sister. And people just kind of forgot about that. Not only that, they saw that this guy has a crazy as cat shit temper. This guy was on the movie set going off on people. So this guy clearly has a problem, but people kind of forget that. These white dudes do all this shit and people just kind of brush it off, but then you make the black man the poster child for the fuckery. And white folks feel like they can do it because once Oprah do it, oh, it's cool. Oh, Oprah did it, so if I do it, that means I'm not racist. Oprah need to cut that mammy shit out. Y'all need to call Oprah ass out on that. Call Oprah's ass out on that. She's getting a lot of backlash, and rightfully so, but I digress. But anyway, y'all, today is a fun show. I don't want to get too heavy. It's going to be a very fun show today. Today's show is about Regional Mackin. Fellas, I want to get you up on your game, man. Sometimes you got to get up out your neighborhood. You got to get up out the hood. You got to go out there and see what's around, not just the country, but you got to see what's going on around the world. You got to go out there and experience different cultures. You got to experience different stilos, different swags. You got to see how other cities rock. That will not only help you expand your game, it will broaden your horizons, and it will free you. You see, the thing is, man, humans, we're very social creatures. And a lot of times, man, especially in this day and age, we become so antisocial. Everything is done on the internet. You have Facebook, you have Twitter. And I have a Twitter page. And Twitter is really all the rage. I don't understand what the rage is. And I was Twittering when I was in Hawaii last week. And I'm like, okay. I was reading other people's Twitters. I'm like, okay, whatever. People are ranting and raving about Twitter. I have a Twitter. Just go to Tariq Nasheed at Twitter, whatever the fuck. But I don't see what the rant and rave is. But I digress. But anyway, like I said, man, people, we become so antisocial, whereas back in the day, we would get out the house. You remember when we were kids, we would go outside. We play football in the street. We go over to the girl's house, spit game. We go out and we kick it. You don't see that. You don't see kids out. You don't really see people out like that anymore. People are just at home on the computer or at home texting. So what happens is that you confine yourself, man, and when you're confined into a certain location for too long, a lot of negative energy will accumulate, man. You start literally going insane. Slowly, but you kind of go insane staying in one spot. That's why people in jail, when they want to punish somebody in jail, what do? They put them in solitary confinement because that's going to fuck with their mind. They want to be in general population so they can interact with other people, because people will literally go crazy in solitary confinement, and that's the way it is when you're stuck in a certain area all the time. You ever wonder why I'm always going somewhere? I will go nuts if I don't go somewhere. I have to go somewhere. Got to go somewhere different. That helps me tighten my game up, because I've been all over the place. I've traveled and I've learned different cultures, and you respect other people's culture and you see how they put it down and you learn from that. See, sitting up in your hood all the time, it will turn you into a hater. You always have somebody sitting up in the same neighborhood they've been in forever, hating on everybody else, talking shit, hating. Being stuck in a certain spot for too long will turn you into a hater. So you gotta get up and do fly shit. And I'm just gonna give a few tips and a few reviews about certain places to go and what the vibe is in certain places. Now, I just left Hawaii. Hawaii is a great place, and I know it's a recession. A lot of folks may or may not be able to afford to go out there, but it's a cool place to go. You don't have to have a passport. Hawaii is the shit. Hawaii is the bomb, and the thing about Hawaii, man, you got a bunch of Asian and Polynesian dimes out there. I mean dimes, nice, thick, fine ass Asian bras with a good vibe. You get a lot of people from the Far East coming over there, so you just get a lot of that Asian Polynesian culture. And the Hawaiian people are absolutely wonderful, and over there I feel real free because a lot of the police officers over there like Hawaiian, and they ain't tripping. You don't have to worry about cops fucking with you, because that's a problem in the black community, man. You live in a system of paranoia. In the black community, man, a lot of times, man, when we go out, you have that subconscious paranoia, man. You got to be careful when you dip a corner. That you feel that. You tense up when you see a cop car because you're like, okay, I don't want this cat fucking with me. So over there, it's good to not have that. If you're a black person. White folks, you feel comfortable all the time. You feel like white folks feel when you go to Hawaii, black folks. You feel free. Nobody's going to harass you. And that takes a load off right there. But Hawaii is the shit. And the main spot to go to in Hawaii, if you want to go there, go to the Oahu Island. That's where everything pops off. Like Maui, that's like a place for couples, really. And the Big Island, not too much stuff popping there. Not too much of a nightlife. But all the popping off shit is happening on the island of Oahu in the Honolulu, Waikiki area. And there's a club in Waikiki called Zanzibar that you got to go to. But the vibe over there is tight, man. You get your nice little thick Asian chick, nice little fly-ass Hawaiian chick. Real good vibe over there. Now, if you want to keep your game domestic, there are places you can go in the States, depending on what you like. Now, if you're a brother and you like thick white girls, you should go to the Pacific Northwest, like Seattle, Portland. Get you a nice thick white girl, and they love brothers. Now, if you're a guy, if you like Asian women and you want to keep it in the States, you like Asian Filipino girls, you get a lot of them up in Sacramento and around the San Francisco area. A lot of them. And they're real cool over there. Now, if you want you a nice fly Latina chick, like Brazilian, Cuban, if you're into Latinas, and I talked about this on one of the shows before, on the Mackin to Latina shows, if you're black, you really don't want to come to LA if you like Latina girls, because there's a lot of Latina girls out here, but Mexican girls, they're guarded by their families, so they can't really bring the brothers home, unfortunately, in LA. A lot of tension in LA with the black Mexican thing. Not too much, but there's a little tension. So your best bet, if you like your nice Latina broad, and I'm not saying you can't get no Latina chick out here in LA. I mean, there are some out here, but I'm just saying weigh your odds. The best bet for that is Miami. Go down and get your Cuban, Dominican, Colombian, a lot of Latina females down there in Miami that's really, really down. Real fly. Real fly spot. Now, Atlanta. Let me get on Atlanta's ass. Now, Atlanta, and I talked about Atlanta a couple of shows ago. Atlanta used to be really the bomb-ass city. It has slowed down a bit. And I'm not shitting on Atlanta, because I still love Atlanta. But Atlanta isn't the city that it used to be back in the 90s. In the 90s, Atlanta was a beast. And I've said this a million times. You drive down Peachtree on a Friday night, and you'll get some pussy by accident back in the 90s. The whole vibe has changed in Atlanta because it got flooded. Everybody started flooding Atlanta. All the dusty niggas and all the hood rats started flooding Atlanta. And also back in the 90s, there were hood rats. But the thing is, in Atlanta, you kept your hood rats regulated. You had your hood rats at bay. You guys kept the hood rats basically on Camilton Road. Back in the 90s. Y'all would send all the hood rats to Club Illusions. And there was a couple of other hole-in-the-wall clubs on Camilton Road. But all the upscale spots, like in Buckhead and all those, y'all wouldn't let the hood rats in, which was cool. Because I went to a club, when I went down to Atlanta for the first time, and they would take me to all these different spots. I went to some of the flyest spots, and I went to some of the gulliest gold tooth wearing spots you could ever imagine. There was one spot on Camilton Road. It was right down the street from Illusions. It was a big yellow club. Niggas with a bunch of Buick Regals with giant rims and gold teeth, and girls with big beehive hairstyles. And they were barbecuing in the front of the club. I'm like, God damn, this is some country ass shit. But in all the classy spots would be in like Midtown and all that. So now the whole vibe has changed. Y'all don't let the hood rats go to all the clubs out there in Atlanta. So all the fly women, all the upscale women, they don't really like hanging out with hood rats. So a lot of those women either stay home or they'll go to a sports bar or something like that. So your best bet in Atlanta, man, from what I'm hearing now, are different sports bars that's popping off. And when I was down there doing the lecture a few months ago, I wanted to go to some of them. I just didn't have a chance to because I had to hop on flights. But they were telling me about different sports bars where some of the classy women hang out. And that's going to be your best bet in Atlanta for right now. Atlanta still has some bomb-ass women. Don't let the hood rats out there fool you. Because, again, there's a lot of simps that went down to Atlanta, a lot of tricks and Captain Saberho niggas, and they start propping up these hood rats. These niggas down there turning strippers into celebrities. You got strippers down in Atlanta with publicists. But that's not indicative of everything that's happening in Atlanta. Atlanta still got some bomb-ass women. You just don't see them like you used to. The hood rats kind of deflect your attention from that. Now, Los Angeles, LA, we have some of the best women in the game. Beautiful women out here in LA. But we have some of the best looking dumbass women on the face of the earth. There's some dumb, pretty motherfuckers out here. Women out here are just halfway fucking retarded. But they look good. So if you want to come out to LA, your best bet is, if you want to get a decent female, chill with a woman who has her head right, get you a female in LA, which is rare, but get you a female who's working the square job, who's cool with the square life. Unless you're hustling, but that's a whole different story. But if you're just a regular dude, you want to chill with a regular chick, go get you a nice little square broad who works somewhere at like an office, a dental place or whatever. Don't fuck with these actresses, these wannabe singers. Those are the absolute worst. These actresses and wannabe singers, they're trying to suck whatever dick is going to help get them in the business. Whatever dick is going to get them a casting call, that's what they're looking for. Whatever dick they're going to suck to get in a studio, that's what they're looking for. Fuck with them urban models, leave them alone out here. There's a lot of them coming out here. Fuck that urban model shit. The chick who wants to be on Tyra Banks, America's Next Top Model, the chick who wants to be an actress, leave them alone. And I'm not hating on them. There's nothing wrong with the women wanting to pursue their dream. But I'm just saying, as a dude, you don't want to really invest in that. Let her get her shit together. Let her get her shit together, because you're going to get a whole lot of problems dealing with a woman like that. She's trying to suck her way up to the top, which is unfortunate. You know, a lot of women, not everybody. There are women out here who have talent, who's going to acting classes or taking singing lessons, and they're really, really talented. That's a very small percentage. You got a bunch of untalented bitches out here trying to use that pussy to get them to the top. You have models out here fucking for photo shoots. So get you a nice little square broad out here in LA. Now, New York. And I always get on New York. People say I'm hard on New York. I'm not hard on New York. The thing is, New York is a much different city from what it was when I first went out there. I first went to New York in like 92. When I went to New York in 92, the perception I had of New York is that I'm going to go out here, it's going to be a bunch of broke niggas with backpacks riding the subway. Because that's what you saw in the music videos. You remember back in 92, in the music videos, the rappers from New York were just grimy dudes. You know, they'd be rapping in an alley and they'd be on the subway rapping about a cipher and what's up, God, 5%er. You know, you thinking you're going to see a broke nigga with an African medallion selling incense. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go out to New York and show them how LA niggas shine. I'm going to go out there and show these New York niggas what's popping with it. Man, I went out to New York and them niggas was not on subways. In 92, them New York niggas was hustling. Them New York niggas was rolling Benzes, them Isuzu trucks and them Jeeps, and them niggas was rolling BMWs. Them niggas was rolling hard, and that's when those cats would have fluorescent lights under their cars. That never caught on in LA, but I remember that distinctively. I would go around New York. I was walking around Manhattan, and all these niggas rolling around in these fly whips with these fluorescent lights under their cars, and these niggas was jeweled up, jewelry popping, gear popping. These niggas was wearing that Versace shit in 1992. They were rocking Versace and all that in 92. See, they weren't rapping about that yet. See, hip-hop kind of takes a couple of years to really reflect what's truly going on in the streets. But in 92, New York niggas was hustling. The hustlers ran New York in 92. Because in LA, the cops ran the streets in 92. That's why we had a big riot out here in LA. But in New York, the hustlers ran the streets. These dudes, I was hanging out with these hustling niggas, and they took me over to the track, to the whole stroll. They're like, yeah, I got to go handle this business. Let me go here to this track. I went over there to the track, and I ain't never seen no shit like that before. It was like, just cars backed up with hoes just as far as the eye can see, flipping in and out of cars, getting money. It was like a traffic jam of cars, and there was hoes just all over the place. I'd never seen no shit like that. I don't even know if, I think it was like 42nd Street, it was somewhere by a bunch of warehouses. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was in Manhattan, and I ain't never seen no shit like that before. And the cops were right there. The cops were acting like none of this was going on. I'm like, these niggas done paid off the cops. These niggas are doing it in New York. And they had love for LA. That was a whole big misconception. I'm thinking that a lot of New York niggas didn't like LA. I was in New York, man, they were bumping NWA. All I heard was Snoop Deep Cover. That's when Deep Cover came out, and every nigga in New York was bumping that. All that East Coast, West Coast bullshit. They loved the West Coast in New York back in 92. I was shocked to hear that. I'm like, these New York niggas are all right. And the women were very cooperative. The women didn't have that slick mouth. The women were very respectful with the way they stepped to dudes. The dudes had the women in check. I'm like, all right. I like these New York niggas. So the whole vibe was totally different. The hustlers ran the streets. The women respected the dudes. They showed respect. I had very good memories of New York back then. I mean, motherfuckers, they said it's the city that wouldn't sleep. You niggas did not go to sleep, literally. I don't know when the clubs closed in New York. I've never been to a club in New York where the DJ said, all right, everybody have a good night, drive home safe. And when do he say that? It'd be 6:30, motherfuckers still dancing. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. What time y'all niggas go to bed in New York? Motherfuckers be leaving the club, going to work. I'm like, what kind of shit is this? Them New York motherfuckers wore me out. I couldn't hang with none of that shit. They blew my mind. They blew my freaking mind. So later on, when I go to New York, back in like the late 90s, around 2000, 2001, the whole vibe is different, man. I see women with the slick mouth. I go to New York, the women are running the dudes now. Niggas talking about tricking. The whole vibe was different. All the hustlers were gone. I guess all the hustlers got locked up or something, or locked up or killed, but the hustlers were gone. And a lot of dudes were kind of being a little too accommodating to the women out there in New York. I'm like, what happened? Women talking crazy to dudes in New York. Loud mouthing dudes, loud talking them in public. I'm like, damn. What happened? And I'm not saying this in every situation. There are exceptions to the norm, but I saw a lot of this late 90s, early 2000s, and I saw none of it in the early 90s. So that's why I get on New York, because it made a dramatic change. See, LA, it changes, but it's pretty much the same. The whole vibe in LA has been the same since the 80s. As far as, men, women, relationships, it's been pretty much the same. But I've never seen such a dramatic shift in the dynamic between men and women in such a short time. From a city of men running the situation to women coming at niggas real crazy. I'm like, what the fuck? So in New York, man, the thing is, the guys out there, a lot of you guys don't know the advantage you have. Because I go to New York and I meet fly ass women all the time, and they're very cooperative. But the thing is, I'm on the outside looking in. I know the other options I have. I think a lot of guys in New York feel like they don't have as many options as they should. You're stuck in the borough. You might not have a ride. So you think that this female that's in your neighborhood, you have to take all her bullshit because there's nothing else out there. Bullshit. There's a lot of fly women out there in New York, man. You got to think outside your borough. A lot of my New York cats only think in the realm of their neighborhood. You see that on like little videos. You see all these niggas on these World Star Hip Hop and YouTube videos in their hood, repping their hood, whoop-de-whoop. That's cool repping your hood, but there's more to it than that. A lot of people are very territorial. They don't venture too much outside of their hood. That's where they're most comfortable. That's why I get on cats about traveling. Get out there and see what's out there. See other options. There's more shit to the game than the women in your little neighborhood who's talking slick. Don't accept that, especially my New Yorkers. I meet some of the flyest women when I go to New York. Then I talk to my homies out there and they tell me these horror stories about the women that they're dealing with. I'm like, dude, why are you dealing with that? Hook up with some of these females I met. What are you talking about? Why are you dealing with that? And I'm not talking about every New York dude. I mean, there's still New York dudes out there who put the game down old school. But there is a dramatic shift, and you guys know that. You guys are aware of that. But I digress. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, you got to get out there. You got to experience different cities. Experience different cultures, even if it's small cities, man. If you're in Cleveland, drive over to Youngstown. If you're in Atlanta, drive down to Savannah. Because Savannah, Georgia got a bunch of down-ass women to do whatever. When I went down there, those military wives and all those chicks, because there's a big military, I think it's a military base down there, but those military wives want some freak shit. So you never know what's popping off in these cities if you don't experience them, man. You got to get out there and travel. Some of the best fun and some of the best ass I done had from a female is from a female in a small country ass town that don't nobody know about. Those little small ass trailer ass towns be having some of the biggest goddamn freaks. I promise you, some of the best poon dang I done had was in somebody's trailer. I had a girl one time, it was somewhere outside of Birmingham, and that's another thing about Birmingham. Birmingham is a cool city. A lot of people think that Birmingham is country, it's backwards, and that's the thing, man. You got to respect somebody's neighborhood and don't underestimate people's cities, because you never know what pops off in these cities. You go out there thinking that you big shit and you get rolled up. Because when I tell them I lived in Birmingham, they're like, oh, Birmingham, that shit is country, ain't it? Niggas on cows and niggas. You go down to Birmingham, them niggas will blow your fucking head off. Fucking with them dudes in Birmingham. Those little niggas are no joke down in Birmingham. Don't go down there thinking that it's niggas on tractors and cows. It ain't like that now. You step to the wrong nigga in Birmingham, it will be a problem. Don't sleep on them dudes. In a lot of these other little cities, don't sleep on them. Because you have little niggas out here who ain't got nothing to lose. But it's these little small cities that you don't know about that's sometimes the most poppin'est cities in that state. I done been to every little buttfuck city out here in the country, and I'd had some the most fun in Jasper, Mississippi, Booty Juice, Delaware. I mean, all those little small spots be popping sometimes, so it's good to just experience different things. I had a girl one time, she stayed, I can't even remember the name of the city. It was like outside of Montgomery, Alabama, a real small place. Her and her mama stayed in a trailer, and this was a black chick. Fine ass black chick. She looked like Kenya Moore. Pretty country ass Kenya Moore looking bitch. Fine as she goddamn wanna be. And she had a pet goat. This how country this motherfucker was. She had a pet goat, and I'm thinking the goat was a dog. I'm like, what kind of dog is this? She's like, oh, you funny as hell. What the fuck kind of dog is this? I'm up here trying to play with this motherfucker. I'm like, come here, boy. He talking about, bah. I said, bitch, get your dog. But these little small country ass girls in these little small ass towns, have some of the downest ass females, man. So it's just good to travel. The point is, man, get out there and experience some of these different spots. Expand your mind, broaden your horizons. Go to some of these luxurious places. The point is, no matter what you do, just get out and experience the world. Expand your mind. Don't sit up in a funk. I know they're telling you that it's a recession and the economy's fucked up and you can't do nothing and your ass out and they're scaring you. Don't let them scare you. Don't let them get you in a funk. Don't let the media play mind tricks on you. You can still get out there and do your thing. Get in your car. Take your little drive. Hit up the clubs in different spots. Hit up some bars in different spots. Spit at some new females you ain't spit at before. Expand your mind. Step your game up. Holla at a player. That's been today's episode of the Mack Lessons Radio Show. I'm your host. My name is Mr. Tariq Elite. Don't forget, everybody, go to MackLessonsRadio.com. That's where you can resubscribe to the show. I'm going to need you to resubscribe because I changed servers. I've uploaded all the old shows. So go to MackLessons.com and resubscribe to the show. You'll get it on iTunes, but I need you guys to resubscribe. I love you. I will holler at you next time. Peace.